Well, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the news at noon. I'm Mark Hall. Right now, a Maryland man is dead after he was shot by a police officer. Investigators say that he may have been having a mental health crisis. Law enforcement agencies wrapped up a news conference just a short time ago, and what we know is that this started last night in the district. And our Randy Bass is gathering more details, and we're going to have her live a little bit later on in the newscast. Meantime, meteorologist Damon Matson joins us now with the latest check on the forecast. And Damon, I'm not sure if the sun is going to come out today, but we're going to deal with whatever comes our way, right?
Yeah, these clouds are being stubborn out there, Mark, to say the least. At least, though, folks, we have calmer conditions today. The winds have finally died down for the most part, but yes, we are continuing to see a gray sky as we sit on the edge of an approaching Clipper system. So throughout the rest of the day, look at how those clouds, they have been just filling in since early this morning. Really, not much of any breaks of sunshine to be found out there today. So this cloudy sky we have now is what we are going to see all the way through the afternoon and into the evening. But like I just mentioned, again, the clouds will have to deal with those, but at least we are not dealing with the breezy winds that we had out there yesterday. We only have wind speeds of about 5 to 10 miles an hour, very manageable to say the least. But look at where these winds are coming from, out of the south and east. So for some of our coastal communities right along the shores of the Chesapeake Bay, the Potomac River, that onshore wind is going to amplify the high tide later on. So down into St. Mary's County, for instance, here, a coastal flood warning remains in effect. So just some coastal areas, because of that onshore wind, we'll be dealing with some of that tidal flooding here for the next couple of days. But any other flood alerts left over from yesterday when we had all that rain through the weekend, bringing up those river levels, those are done. We don't have to worry about any higher river levels at this point. And we stay dry, even though we have a lot of clouds for the rest of the day today. Temperatures as a result, with that cloudiness staying on the chilly side, low to mid 40s is all the warmer we are going to get. But with that Clipper system getting closer to us tonight, do we wring any precipitation out of that as we head on toward Wednesday morning? We'll have a full look at your forecast coming up here in just a bit.
Hey, Damon, thank you. Happening today, Prince George's County leaders are getting together to try and find a solution to youth crime. The meeting is bringing together several groups that have an impact on our kids' lives. The council will be joined by the police chief, the state's attorney, and the school system to identify how each can have an impact on youth crime. The meeting will function as a work session, meaning that leaders will be identifying solutions and making plans of action. District 2 Council member Wanika Fisher says that a major focus is to figure out and stop the factors leading young people to turn to crime. And she said, quote, the county council is committed to gathering information to form stronger programs and legislation to decrease crime committed by young people. Today's meeting starts at 1:30. Well, tax filing season has officially begun, and Consumer Reporter and weekend anchor Ben Dennis is stretching your dollar with the credits that you can claim.
Start the clock. You've got less than 3 months to gather tax documents and file, and credits and counseling. How to get the most on your returns will help you save even more, as one D.C. mom says she got $10,000 back.
I honestly thought that it was a mistake at first.
Chantel Johnson says she couldn't believe the size of her tax refund after filing in 2020.
About $10,000 in total. I was able to pay off debt and purchase my vehicle. I did have a car, but it had got totaled, so I was able to pay off my other vehicle and purchase a new vehicle.
The mother of 3 tells us it was unknown tax credits available to her, and because she fit income requirements, all the while working nearly full-time as a bank teller. Earned income tax credits helped.
EITC.
Paul Smith is the district's taxpayer advocate.
DC is actually one of the most generous jurisdictions in the country. We actually provide 70% of the federal EITC.
And compared to other DMV states, we checked, Maryland offers 50% of the federal EITC credit on their state returns. That's much more compared to Virginia, only 15%. So, what should all income levels be aware of?
What do I need to know so that I can limit what I might have to pay to the IRS this year?
Providing all of your tax documentation, keeping track of all your receipts, such as charitable contributions or whatever the case may be. Make sure that you are looking at the credits that are available to you.
About those credits available on top of certain incomes, if you're a parent or a caretaker, if you paid for college, put money into a retirement account, certain clean vehicle and clean home energy investments, and buying health insurance within the marketplace. Find a free tax professional near you. Just visit the IRS website listed right below. Most taxpayers have until April the 15th to file personal federal returns or request an extension. Ben Dennis, back to you.
Our thanks to Ben. Just moments ago, law enforcement wrapped up a news conference, and what we know is that it started last night in the district. A man committing crimes in D.C. and also on the Maryland side that included carjackings and the firing of a weapon and the death of an innocent bystander, and also shots being fired at law enforcement. Our Randy Bass just got an update from police in New Carrollton. Randy, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Mark, we are dealing with about 6 or 7 different crime scenes over the course of the last 24 hours. It all came to a close here this morning in New Carrollton, where police shot and killed the suspect. Here's what that scene looks like right now. Let me walk you back, though, to about 5:45 last night when this all began. Police say that man got into a parked car and shot at the driver of that parked car along the 900 block of K Street in Northwest D.C. That driver still in critical condition right now. About an hour later, around 7 o'clock last night, that same man tried to carjack another person, pulled out a gun, but was not successful in taking that car. 10 minutes later, just a few blocks away at 3rd and N Street Northeast, that same person shot a man, took their car, killing that man there on the scene near 3rd and N Street. The police were able to start gathering information about that suspect at that time, and that was when they really started to piece things together and figure out who they were looking for. So that car that was taken at 7:15 p.m. right around 3rd and N Street was later dumped on the Maryland side in Tacoma Park. Witnesses started to describe the same suspect in each of these scenes. Took that car, dumped it in Tacoma Park, then carjacks another car in Prince George's County. That same suspect tried to carjack somebody else again right around 3 a.m. A Nissan in this case. They say that Nissan belonged to a rideshare driver that he had called to come and pick him up. Again, just a few minutes later, that same car, that Nissan he carjacked from the Uber driver, was used in a shooting along 295 near the 1st Street exit, shot at a D.C. police officer vehicle. That car then took off. Again, just moments after that, that same car came here to New Carrollton. Police were able to find that car here disabled in the roadway. They were able to identify that that was the same car used in several of these other incidents throughout the evening. Police say the man who took those cars came up to them and pulled out 2 guns. That's when 2 officers here on scene shot and killed him. Police and EMS crews were here trying to provide life-saving measures to that man who later died. Again, we're just still trying to piece together all of the different incidents we're talking about here on this scene right now. Again, still in the very early stages of the investigation here. These are all the details we have right now. We'll bring you more details as we get them. Live in New Carrollton, I'm Randy Bass, DC News Now.
Randy, thank you. Well, new this afternoon, Montgomery County Police Chief Marcus Jones announced that he's retiring from the department. Jones became the 17th police chief in November of 2019. He began his career with the department in September of 1985. His retirement will start on July 1st. Well, when reflecting on his decision to retire, Jones said that it has been an honor to lead such a dedicated and talented department. Now is the right time to retire. I am grateful for the support I have received throughout my career. The search for a new chief of police will begin right away. And moving on to Virginia, plans are underway to closely monitor school bathrooms. The proposed bill is called Celeste Law, and it's currently in committee. The bill would require a school employee in each public elementary and secondary school to check each school bathroom. They would be required to check the bathrooms no less than once every 30 minutes during normal school hours. The bill says it's designed to ensure the safety of each student. Well, developing now, D.C. police are investigating a deadly shooting in Northeast. It happened on N Street and Florida Avenue, not too far from the Noma Metro station, and it happened yesterday. Neighbors say that they heard gunshots around 7 last night, and officers say when they arrived, they found a man unconscious and not breathing. Right now, information about the victim has not been released. However, investigators say the gunman took off in a gray Chrysler with DC plates GR3248. And if you see a car matching the description or have any information about the shooting, you're asked to contact Metro Police. Well, Virginia workers may soon be able to get up to 12 weeks of paid time off for certain life events. Two bills working their way through the General Assembly would create a paid family and medical leave insurance program. It would grant time off to care for a new child, a sick loved one, or themselves if they have a serious health condition. A Virginia Beach woman says that she was forced to work instead of taking care of her daughter, who was born with a rare syndrome.
And especially since she has passed away, thinking that I, had to go to work and not spend moments that you don't get back. I'm not going to get those back, and I spent it working. Instead of spending it with her when she needed me, you carried that guilt around. I will for the rest of my life.
There is opposition to this bill. The Virginia Chamber of Commerce says it would cost businesses and their employees more than $1 billion per year.